Yay! It should look okay now for you guys, right? That should be fine. So, again, thank you for hanging on. Thank you for staying online. I am so excited to be here. You know what? There's so many topics that I really want to talk to you guys about today, but don't get me started on that coronavirus thing that is going on. This is driving me nuts. It's driving me bananas. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. What can I say? I almost put on a mask even just to talk to you guys. This is how messed up this is. This is kind of crazy. I mean, they're scaring the shit out of us right now, and you know, I don't know what to say. But listen, you guys already know what it is. I'm gonna get right to it. I have an incredible special guest. Um, what can I say? Not just a great friend and a great human being, but a brilliant DJ producer. Well, let me rephrase that: international DJ producer that's been just killing it for so many years, and I'm excited to get into a conversation, not just about how far he's come and where he came from, but also where he's going now. And one of the dopest things doing, of course, is the iTalk event. I'm sure you guys saw in our community. We posted a lot about the iTalk event that I just happened to be invited to by him and his team. So that was an exciting event here in New York City. What a privilege to be able to go there and share my story with incredible speakers and incredible humanitarians and people that are doing incredible things for society and for just spreading the message, man. Really, the message of positivity and love. So I'm really excited that I have DJ Casper with us today. And what can I say? This guy is he's the man. He's the guy. Um,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
for
Appreciate
sure,
that.
for sure. Hold on one second, man. Remember I had to reset this whole thing. So there you are. Boom.
I'm trying to see what's you in here.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm putting you on, but since I reset the whole thing, it took you off. So I gotta find you all over again. But all good.
That's fine.
Let me see. There you go. Found you. Where are you now? I don't see you.
Right here. I'm right here.
I don't. You disappear. Oh, there you are. Boom. Yes. Finally. All right. So everybody, welcome DJ Casper in the house, live and direct. Um, and go ahead, man. Please tell them a little bit about you, man.
Uh,
No pressure.
I, I know, right? It's not no pressure. I don't know where to start. Just a lover of music, yo. Lover of music and good energy. International producer, a child. Um, Came a long way. Started when I was 5. That was the first time I put my hands on the turntable.
What? You were
My
five
brother
years
Johnny.
old? Man,
Yeah, 5 years old.
I couldn't keep my hands off of my nose, man. I was picking my nose at 5 years old, man. You were on a turntable? That was amazing. Wait, we lost you. We lost your volume. Check your phone. Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second.
My older brothers used to
There
DJ,
you
and
go.
I'm the youngest out of all of us. So I used to always sneak around the corner and watch all the equipment and things. And I was like, yo, I'm going to touch this stuff one day. And then one day my brother Johnny was like, come here. He took my hand and put my little hand on a little turntable. And he did this little motion. I was hooked. I was hooked ever since. It was over at that point. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. I just had to rearrange some things.
I can't hear anything. Jalen.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Did you hear everything I said?
Yeah, yeah. I heard about your brother and how you wanted to play with his turntable, and So this is how you got
Yeah.
started.
So that's where it all started. It started there, and I was just infatuated with music. So in fast forward in time in elementary school, I used to take boxes, cardboard boxes, and cut the hole out, and whatever broken TV that was in the trash outside, I would run out there, bring the TV in the house, break it all down, take the woofer speaker, out the TV, and put it inside the cardboard box and hook it up to a Walkman. Like it was insane.
That's
Like
insane, man.
I was involved very, very early on. Like I was just super intrigued by the whole concept of music. It's how it operates, how it works, the negative and positive, the wires, fixing things. I was head over heels. As a kid. So that was my start. 23rd and Diamond Street, Projects, North Philly. That was it.
Hey, North Philly, big up, big up. I love it. I love it. And wait, I don't know why is
you there?
Yeah. Hold on. This is getting muted for some reason. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I got an idea.
Okay.
Let me see if this works. If this works, I'm gonna do it.
Microphone, boom, speakers. It should be this. Talk?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. That worked. This is like an experiment here with YouTube. So no, that's incredible, man. I love to hear stories like this because at the end of the day, like where you find the inspiration, where you get started, and like for example, your brother being in the business or and doing it, that was probably really motivational for you. So we all have those people that we admire and that we look at and we're like, oh shit, I want to do that, And so tell me a little bit. He was that guy? No. I wanted to know, growing up in Philly, what was that like? What was the music scene? And I know in the 90s, you guys had this guy named Will Smith that was blowing up out of Philly, so that he was putting Philly on the map.
Yeah, well, the music scene in Philly, not too long, but I played a big part in the music scene.
I'm excited that, I know it, but I want you to tell my audience exactly the things that you got to do, because I think that's what fascinates me about your story. I think you're like Forrest Gump. You met all these people along the way. You pushed them up, and I love that.
Well, so after I left the house parties, in the neighborhood, after that phase, how that started, every weekend, lugging these speakers and crates of records back then, we didn't have computers. Lugging equipment to different house parties on the weekends, all around North Philly. And I used to take my money and go to this record store called Armand's. Well, at the time it was called Funk Mart. And this story is this part of the story is like my favorite because I had no idea what was going to happen. So I used to take my money and go to Funk Mart, and I was the kid. I was the kid in the store buying records. Like, I was there spending my money buying records. Everyone else in there older than me. Like, at this point, I'm like, I'm probably 13, something like that.
Wow.
So I'm buying records with my money, whatever money I got from the house parties. To get into a deeper part, before I get there, so the huge inspiration of my music comes from my mother, and here's why. So back then, in the neighborhood down Diamond Street in the projects, they had house parties, right? Everyone has house parties. My brother Johnny got killed at a house party. Like,
wow.
He got shot killed at a house party. But my mother seen something. So for her to still allow me to pursue my dream after losing a son at a house party, she seen something in me. She seen something that I didn't see.
Wow.
So she allowed me and she supported me. Like I used to do music with this guy, his name was Butter. I was the kid. I was like at the time. I'm going back and forth. I'm gonna get the story correct. So at the house party days, I was the kid and Butter was the teenager. That was his name. His name's Butter. He had most of the equipment. I had about roughly 15 records, a few wires, headphones, but he had the speakers, the turntables, and all that. So we was doing these house parties. I started to get recognition. Like everyone wanted at the time, it was DJ Joe. Everyone wanted Joe to come to the party. He felt some kind of way. So one day we had a party, that was supposed to happen. It was on Friday. I'll never forget this. I went to his house, and I was like, "Come on, let's time to do this party." His mom came downstairs, came to the door, opened the door, looked at me, and was like, "I think y'all should part ways. I think y'all, you should do your own thing. Butter do his own thing. I think y'all should switch y'all equipment." And I'm like, "What? I have no equipment." So at this point, this is early on in my DJ life, like my DJ career. I'm like, "Okay, I'm done." Like he takes his equipment, like that's it for the house parties and my dream of wanting to do music. So what happened was when I went home and told my mom, mind you, she lost her son.
Wow.
And house parties. When I went home and told her that, I just thought I was gonna tell her, and she was like, "Okay, well, I guess that's it, whatever." 3 days later, she woke my dad up, and they came and woke me up. They said, "Come on, we're going downtown and going to the store." So I'm like, "Cool, I had no idea." We went to the same store I bought my records from, and she and my dad purchased all new equipment.
Wow. That's
All
deep,
the
man.
speakers, turntables, mixer, everything. Like anything I needed, they got everything. So that alone showed me that, okay, not only what I feel in this is serious and like special and deep, but this is really, really, really special because just the thought of that, like the fear that what if she loses another son in these same house parties, like the thought of that.
Wow.
So fast forward in time, so now I'm going to house parties. So now I come to the part where I'm in this record store. Now I'm making, I'm making some nice money at that time. $75 a house party. So I'm buying my records in the store, and then this guy, his name is Christopher Wayman. Rest in peace. He died a few years, like 4 years ago. I give him a lot of credit because this is why I'm going to get into this story. So I'm buying my records, and one day he's just like, "Are you a DJ?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." He's like, "What's your name?" In this moment, I made up the name, DJ Casper, because I used to love the Ghost. I used to love the cartoon. I used to watch the cartoon every day. So in this moment is where it came from. He was like, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "DJ Casper." He's like, "We're opening up a young adult nightclub. Now we're going to get into the question about how this was and how I played a huge part." So mind you, at this point, I'm like 13. So he's like, we opened up a young adult nightclub downtown called Club Dances on 7th and Silver. He said, "Make me a mix, bring it in, let me hear it." Right now, this time it's cassette tapes. So I went home and I practiced every day, like hours. So I went home, made the mix, like I don't know how long it was. I was just doing what I normally do at home. I'm playing the game. I forgot what I think it was Nintendo. Playing the game. My mom and my brother Jeff was going downtown. So I said, "Mom, good job." I remember it was a great tape. It was Great Maxwell, I think. Great Maxwell tape.
Wow. I remember
I
that.
gave my mom the tape, and she took it, and it was house phones back then. So playing the game, so she comes back, playing the game. So like hours later, I get a call. So she like, "Joe, the phone. There's some guy named Riggs on the phone." So I'm like, "Oh, it's the store." So I got on the phone. He said, "Who made this mix?" This is exactly how the conversation went. I was like, "I did." He's like, "Come on, who made this mix? Who did this?" I said, "I made the mix." He hung up. So I was like, "That was weird." So I went back to playing Nintendo. So he called back. Get the phone again. He's like, "Tell the truth. Who made this mix? Who did this?" I said, "I did this mix." He said, "Come by the store tomorrow." I was like, "All right." Now, mind you, I had no idea. To this point, I'm thinking the house parties. I'm thinking this is life. I'm doing house parties every weekend. I had no idea what was about to happen. I get to the store. He's like, "We want you to be the DJ for the nightclub." Now, keep in mind, early 90s, like 94, things like that, when artists had to, I'm going to get to that. So he was like, you got the job, we want you to be the DJ. I was like, "Okay, cool."
Wow.
So we started, our first days were 2 to 8 p.m. on Sundays. It was downtown 7th and Silver, which is now a federal prison. So So he made some flyers, paper flyers. I still have like copies of all that.
Wow.
So he made some paper flyers, and then he made 5,000 of them. So he said, "Here, take a stack and pass them out in your neighborhood." Now, keep this in mind. Like, understand, like, I'm a project kid at the moment. So nothing outside of my neighborhood means anything. Like, I'm thinking my neighborhood is everything. So I'm thinking, who's going to want to go downtown? Like, what kids going to want to go downtown to party? Like, we looked at downtown like we was instant in my head. So passed all flyers out into school, passing it out. So the first day, I get there like 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Set up, and it was like a huge club. This club held 4,000 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a huge club, and it was downtown. And it stayed open till 5 in the morning. Like on weekends, on Sundays was the day that I started, was 2 to 8 p.m. daytime. So we set up, 2 o'clock hits. I'm playing some music, and the DJ was waiting there. So this club is huge. They have cold room, pool table area, gaming area. Like, this is like, that club back then is better than a lot of clubs that you see now. Like, it was like crazy. So DJing, he comes up. He was like, telling me to do how to have it. All right, cool. About a half an hour go by. He runs to, like, the club had a huge dance floor. There was a section with a snack bar. And then there was another section where people come in the coke area. So he ran all the way through, came to the club area, and looked up and screamed. He's like, Casper. So I'm looking at him, so I turn it down. He's like, come here. I'm like, what? He's like real, like, anxious. So I run downstairs, and he's like, look at this. I go outside. There was a line all around the corner. Like, all around. Like, it was a line. I had no idea that this was about to completely change my life. And in this same moment, I am still thinking, doing dollar parties. So the club packed out. Like, he had about, the first day, like 800 kids, right? So I'm still doing house parties. So Reds would call me and come get me from house parties. Like, he would not call, he would page and come get me from house parties to just take me to the dances and show me how to look at night. So one day, the DJ, his name was Flex from, back then we called him Flex from Cheney. I think he DJs in Miami now. He was DJing, and I think he called out, he couldn't make it. So Red's like, yo, keep me for a run. I said, all right, cool. So again, I tell my whole neighborhood to come out. So now this is, I think this is Friday night. My entire neighborhood came out. This is my first time, at this moment, this is my first time meeting the owner. Reds was the manager of the store and the manager of the club, the owner's name is Bobby Nance. He comes up. So he shakes my hand. He's like, yo, man, this is crazy. He's like, you're doing a good job. Whatever it was back then, that's crazy, whatever it was. So he's like, what you want to do every Friday and Sunday? I said, no problem. So we did this thing called Super.
You were so nonchalant too. You're like, yeah, whatever. Hakuna Matata, whatever.
It didn't hit me yet. Trust me, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna get to the part when it hit me. So this didn't hit me yet. This is because I'm still doing my hood stuff. Like, I'm still like, the hood is everything. So I had Friday and Sunday. So the first Easter Sunday was called. We used to call it Super Sunday Day School Monday Day. One of them. We used to call it something like that.
Yeah.
And I had a DJ from 12 to 2 kids, like people bringing their kids to see bar and stuff like that. From 2 to 8 for the kids that were like 12 to like 15, and then from 9 to 5 in the morning for the 15 and up.
Yeah.
Now, people used to come in this club all types of ages, because all other clubs closed at 2 o'clock. Like all other clubs, like these other clubs that still open. So people used to come all over. So at this moment, it was jam-packed all day long. And then Reds was like, then they gave me all nights. They gave me Friday and Saturday, and I had Sunday also. So then the part of the industry started kicking in where they started having artists perform. I wasn't exposed to this yet. So at this moment is when I completely cut out the neighborhood parties, because now I'm there all the time. So it's like I can't do parties. And now
You didn't have time.
Yeah, and I'm in school, and everyone is like the reaction is just like I'm the star of Philly. Like, so this is when it started changing. The artists back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have all these outlets to have artists perform or get the music to all of these outlets like the young adult, like 12 to 24, like a certain demographic. Back then, you had to come. Like if you did your promo tours, you had to come perform for these kids. And I was the king of these kids. Like I was the kid DJ, and I was the king of them. Every other club was 21 and up. The only young adult nightclub in Philly was dances, and I was the dance star. So every artist came to dances. So the first dance was closed, 7th Field, and we moved to 13th Street. 13th Street between Vine and Grace. And that was another club that held, about 3,000 people. And I had pictures of Jay-Z and Dame Dash on the stage while I'm DJing. I had pictures of Mace. Like Mace was my homie. Like this is, I'm fast forwarding. Let me slow up. So when artists would come, Luke, Foxy Brown, As Yet, the first performance of Philly, the first performance of True Hill, like live performance ever.
Wow. It's so crazy.
I didn't know. Again, I'm young, so I didn't know, because they would come up and speak, and we would exchange numbers with certain people in their team and their crew. I didn't know the effect that this was going to have years later. Then I was just like, okay, it's whoever. It's this artist, whatever. So I would play all the artists from Philly. They came in, Keely, Major Figures, Cassidy. All of these artists, before they did anything, they would come. You had to come to dances. I don't care who you were. Even Frank Knuckles from the Roots, like the Roots. All you had to come to dances. Like there was no escape. Like dances was the best club. All of you had 3 of them. You had 7th and Filbert, 13th Street between Vine and Race. I mean, you had right off Road Gerard. It was called Dances for about 3 years, and we left and someone else took it over. But I built all these relationships with everyone.
That's insane.
So
That's a key thing right there that I want to remind my community. It's about building relationships and creating a network.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That when I started getting into understanding the business, I'm like, oh wow, like I know all these people. Like you know what I mean? Like so now when they're getting on, like NEC when we used to ice the on, you remember this instrumental? He's like, man. It was this instrumental everyone used to rap on.
Yeah.
So they used to come, and the way the club was, let me explain our club. So the club had, it was DJ booth, and in front of the DJ booth was the DJ booth was really high, and we had this huge window, and in front of the DJ booth was the stage, like connected to the DJ booth, and the wall that held the DJ booth up, the whole wall was mirror. So people flocked to the stage, and they, like once you get on stage, you can basically talk like this. Like I could reach my hand out, shake your hand, you talk to me. So it was very up close and personal a lot. So when artists would come, I used to break so much music and let some artists form, like BC used to come in way before they got this.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I put on this instrumental, get on the mic, like, yo, get the mic. People had freestyles on, like, yo, it's just. And I started DJing on the radio. We had a lot of podcasts. So like I used to be live in the club, on the radio. And so many DJs I helped out, so many artists, like insane.
That's amazing.
So let me get to when the first dance was closed. This is how I got my relationship. You mentioned something about Will Smith, so let me get to that. When the first dance was closed, there was a club next to it called Boots. That was the club Charlie Mack was running. So Bobby Dance didn't want to lose the momentum of dances, so he teamed up. Him and Charlie Mack knew each other, but they teamed up instead of competing in this moment. And we just had our kids go to the Illusions and join forces. So this is when I met Charlie Mack years ago as a kid. So now we meet. I'm DJing at his club at 15, something like that. So I'm DJing at his club. We get cool, and Daryl Schuler, like some growing up with all these legends and continuing the relationships. And I'll always send, like, even to this day, my real close friend, like I always send courtesy emails, like courtesy texts, like how's it going? Like it's just I always kept it that way. So when I
Very important.
Yeah. So when I learned that, of how these relationships really help out. Once I started maturing and understanding, like when I got past the fame, like from the projects, DJing in nightclubs downtown, it's this initial shock factor.
Of course.
The owners used to send me in limos to different clubs in Delaware and stuff like that. It was insane. It's a lot. But when I slowed up and started processing, I could turn this into something. Like this is serious. Like why have the attention of these people? Let me not waste it. Let me not, be content with just, me stay here, I dance at this level and be content with people that's following me. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, these girls and boys that are my age right now, that they're, going to the next grade and going to the next, going to college and doing whatever. So I can't continue to, stay at this level while they're growing. I have to grow too. I have to, understand that I have to, utilize my relationships, build, actually get connected with the people with numbers and stuff like that I had. So, but I was around these people and playing music like the Gillies, the ACs, the Schoolways, you name it. Like, it was insane.
So let me ask you something. So let me ask you something now. How has that translated to building a successful business today, and how are you, helping? I'm sure. I mean, you do it now. How are you helping others to get put on now?
Well, how that translated was when I had the relationships and when I was touring with these people and they got their deals, and I would be around, I would learn from them. Like I would ask questions, ask questions of, how I should operate, how I should work in the industry, and all of these people owed me. So I would, take notes. I would take notes and
Beautiful.
apply those things. I would apply those things to my own life, my own personal life, and my career. And getting back to Reds, the guy who discovered me at dances, he played a huge role because when I was in school, Reds would come to my school to make sure I wasn't cutting class, to make sure I was like,
wow.
Like he didn't let me get big headed because it could happen. Like when I'm coming in ninth grade, kids going crazy on me. Like I was ruling. Like you understand? It was crazy. So Reds was that person to keep me grounded. Like he was like.
It was your first mentor. It was your first mentor.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, and like what I learned from then and now, I've always liked to just help people. Like always like to help people. And I don't ever really put it out there. Like ever. Like I never put it out there. I just I love helping people, giving people connections. Like this person is trying to do something that I see some good in them, and I have a connection. I connect dots. I put it together.
Hold on, pause. Very important. Pause. Listen to what he just said. He said that I see some good in him, right?
Yeah.
And then I help put it together. Think about that, okay? We're used to an industry that it's the opposite, that people think they got to climb on one another and step on one another to get somewhere. Instead, you're hearing this from Casper, who travels all over the world, works with all kinds of people, and he's saying, I like to help people, and I like to make sure that, I see some good in them, I help. So just keep that in mind as the community continues to grow. Understand that these are the type of relationships that we want to keep forging.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very, very important. It's no sense in trying to hold someone back. Especially if it's if this is a situation that someone is trying to do something. Like if you have a connection and someone that is trying to do something that you have a connection to that person. And even in real time, that has nothing to do with you. Why not connect the dots?
Yes.
Like why hold that? Like why not?
People do it all the time, man. It's funny. I deal with that all the time, and it's interesting because, of course, you now also doing the iTalk events. We've been doing the music entrepreneur events, and we put these events together for the purposes of, hey, let's all collaborate, let's all eat, let's all get together, bring some amazing people together, and let's all figure out how we can all eat, and bake a pie together, right? And people forget sometimes. They don't even bother to even say thank you. You know, they don't even bother to say, hey, thank you for that introduction, and thank you for bringing me to speak, thank you to whatever. People forget. And I mean, at this point, I just let it go. But at the same time, it's important that we call them out and let them know. You know, we all, I mean, we're all working toward the same thing. You know, we all have families and things we want to do. And when we're doing something for you, let's say, um, that means it's something that I'm not doing for my own kid. You know, it's time that I'm not spending with my family. So we got to keep that in mind and really look out for one another, and create strategic alliances. That's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And
So
sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it may be difficult, but the good ones will keep, will keep it pushing. The good ones will keep the spirit alive. You know what I mean? Like the good ones will keep connections and things. I'm sure we've all been, right? I've been burned like 5 times. I put together 5 different groups, and each one of the groups, the individuals, I would put in place and get them to a certain level, and they would totally forget. They get big headed, and then I have to like move on. And these things are sad because like people were actually talented. So like, what was the like it's a situation with for example, it's an artist named Kid Fresh that I was working with. He could have been in Empire, like easily. You know what I mean? Like when Empire, before Empire happened, there was a movie called Brotherly Love, and Charlie Mack and I was working on the whole Hakeem Yaz project. Like we was working that whole thing. I produced Hakeem's first single. It's called Let It All Out. If you go on YouTube right now, you can actually see when Yaz is on stage performing the song with Charlie Mack recording it, and you can hear, Yaz like, let the rock DJ Casper, like this is early on. I think that the YouTube probably got like a few, maybe like a few hundred views. But it was it was a whole movement. Like me and Charlie was running around with Yaz. We had Gotti around Yaz. Like,
wow. And by the way, for those that don't know,
Hakeem,
Hakeem, you guys remember Hakeem from Empire, the youngest son, and so that's his real name is Yaz.
Yeah, Yaz the greatest. Yeah. So Bashir actually that's his real name, but his rap name is Yaz, and then we got Empire. He wanted people to move him to Yaz, so you gotta be legal. You know that you gotta legal name, you gotta legalize. So Yaz is actually his real name also. But yeah, we was a part of that whole, and this was heartbreaking a little bit because Kid Fresh and Yaz. If I showed you a picture of Kid Fresh, you would think him and Yaz were twins.
Wow.
Like it was you have no idea how similar they were. But I could have, made that plug. And this is what happened. Let me tell you the story. Let me get into this story. So Kid Fresh was 16. I talked to his mom. I said, hey, how's his grades, things like that. She said, he's straight. He was a smart kid. So I produced a whole album on him that I called Deja Vu and Rap Confession. So I'm a DJ, so I could easily break records, and I'm friends with a million DJs. Like you know how DJs are. Like you have yeah. So I'm also a believer in take your time. Like don't rush it. It's gonna come. Like just so I would play the records. I had the records on radio. Had different DJs playing it on air, like clockwork. It was making some noise, gaining some traction. Had it on iTunes and everything. And a guy he ran across who knew me from the old neighborhood was kind of in the streets or whatever. And I guess that intrigued him. So, long story short, he brought the guy to me. So we talked. He said, hey, I would love to do loud music / Casper Paul's music and put this album back out, add a couple new songs. So I said, again, I like helping people. I said, no problem. I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. We can do that. We can add 2 new songs, put down back out, loud music, Casper Paul's. Cool, let's do it. Because I always have a lot of stuff going on. So I didn't I'm doing a payroll, like management, that's fine. Come to find out, they they ended up doing a project with 8 songs. They did a project with 8 songs and wanted to like delete the whole album, and then he ended up wanting to go without music. So this was on. I was like, so you just going to leave what I started and just. So I was like, I didn't really trip. So listen to this story. So I told my best friend Sick. I said, Sick, listen, because we had a show at TLA. I said, when we do this show, Fresh has this is his last chance. If he comes out with a loud music shirt on or repping loud music with all the work we put in, because they like they was like, hey, Cass, look, we're gonna make a decision and we're gonna go with loud music and do our thing. We don't want to do Cass Falls anymore. We're gonna back off from that. They didn't say anything. So the show happened. Now this same show, Yaz performed that. The same show. I didn't know Yaz at the time. Yaz on stage, he performed. A couple people performed. The DJ this. A couple other people performed. Kid Fresh comes out with a loud music shirt on. So he comes out, and I was just like, I kept my poise. Like we continued to do the show, and that showed me the disloyalty. Like that showed me, like okay, like that's a wrap. So I get backstage, and I'm talking to Miss Barry, which is Yaz's mom. And we talking about Yaz and, you know, the things she wants him to do and things like that. Mind you, I had me and Charlie Mack like this. So that fast, that could have been Kid Fresh. Like Kid Fresh could have been in that whole movement. But he didn't, he rather be, you know, he much rather be, you know, shady.
Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second so I can fix the headphones real quick. Um, there you go. Yeah. Wow. What a shame. He could have been the one instead of Yas. And
or he could have been he could have been, you know, he could have been along the path. You know what I mean? Like Charlie was open to artists back then. Like Charlie was open. I could have easily
real quick in in uh in a minute, just like a 60-second thing. Please tell people who Charlie Mack is, because he's incredible.
Charlie Mack is entertainment. That's he's he might be the mayor of entertainment. Like it's not a person in entertainment that doesn't know him. Movies, basketball, football, artists. Like he and Will Smith started the whole. Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff was Charlie Mack's artists. Like they started together. Like
so start with that.
Charlie Mack is also the guy.
I mean, exactly.
Yeah, Charlie Mack is also the guy in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Charlie Mack is the guy that's spinning Will Smith around when Will Smith is like, on the basketball court, whatever, trouble. And then Will Smith gets spun around. That's Charlie Mack spinning him around. Like, so Charlie Mack is the guy. He is the guy. Yeah. He is, him and Will Smith are like, they're closer than this. They like this.
Yeah.
They're like,
and FYI, for those that know my story already, how I went from the street to the Microsoft job, the Xbox thing, blah blah blah. The very next job, and mind you, before I even say that, you have to understand that I only had 3 CDs that I had when I was homeless, right? I listened to 3 CDs. I listened to Big Willie Style, Welcome to Miami by Will Smith. That's what I had. I had a CD by Common back then, which was I Used to Love Her. Remember that song?
Yeah.
And I had a CD by the Black Eyed Peas. Okay, the original Black Eyed Peas, right? So those were the only 3 CDs that I had. I have a bunch of cassettes other than that, but you know, this is like late 2001, early 2002. But the point is, when I did that Microsoft job, the very next job that I did, you ready for this? I worked on the movie Ali for 3 months with Will Smith as a stand-in for Will Smith, mainly for Jamie Foxx and Mario Van Peebles and Jeffrey Wright. But I also sometimes had to do some stuff for Will. And the funny thing about it is that that's where I met Charlie Mack. You know.
Wow.
So yeah. So I got
Wow.
to spend time with those guys back then, and again, I was super young too, like you,
Mhm.
and I got to see this whole um, dynamic of who Charlie Mack was with Will Smith, and of course, those
Crazy.
guys were just creating an incredible film at the time with Michael Mann
Mhm.
and someone that I admired a lot back then,
Mhm.
and now of course Emmanuel Lubezki, who eventually went on to win all these Oscars in
Mhm.
cinematography like Gravity and The Revenant,
Yeah.
like, and I was in the middle of. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget the day that um, I was hanging out with these. I was there. It was myself and this other kid. We
Yeah.
were the stand-ins, and then Will, Jamie were joking around because
Yeah.
um, Muhammad Ali was coming in to the set that day for the first time, and so we
Mhm.
were joking around this and that, and me and this kid, I forgot his name now, but me and him, we were the only standings. No background, no extras. Nobody was allowed in that room. Only we were
Wow.
allowed in that room because me and this kid were gonna be inside of the ring, and that kid was standing for Muhammad Ali. I was standing for Will, and this
Wow.
is for the Time magazine cover shot. So I was sitting
Wow.
I mean, sorry, what's his name? Muhammad Ali was sitting on the chair,
Mhm.
and then Will Smith was leaning over him. If you guys can Google that Time magazine thing. I have the original picture somewhere of me and this other kid as the stand-ins, and the guy gave me the Polaroid. That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I have that. But anyway, so that day was really significant because I got to really see another side of Will. Uh, Actually, for the first few weeks of the set, he was in character so much that he wasn't even Will. He wasn't Will. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was probably the first day that he came out of character, and he was himself in front of Muhammad. And Muhammad actually was very funny. He was saying some really funny
Yeah.
things and like jabbing at him and poking at him and shit. So this was really like a really uh, surreal day for me. It's like I'll never
Yeah.
forget that. So that's my
Yeah. That's
connection to Will
it's.
Smith, man. Oh wait, and the fact that remember 3 weeks before or so, I forgot how many weeks. I performed "Welcome to Miami" on stage for Microsoft. That was the song that they
Oh yeah. Yeah.
picked.
Yeah. You left that out. We got that.
Yeah. That's the song they picked. So that's the law of attraction. That's the power of the
Yep.
mindset at work. Like I shifted
Hmm.
my mindset, and these things began to happen one after the other. So this is
Yeah.
very very incredible. I love your story, man. Thank you for sharing that. And so,
Thank
what
you.
are things that you want to share to my community that can help them build a better rapport with people that they're networking with? How can they keep in touch with people better? How can they, because I heard you mention that you do that you keep in touch with people, that you follow
Mhm.
up and stuff like that. What are some tips that you can give them so that they can do a lot of the same,
Um, some good tips, great tips I can
aside
give
from
them is
being genuine, by the way?
aside from being what?
Genuine, like don't, because
Yeah.
most people like don't just call or email or text and be like, can you do something for me? That's the first thing
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
does. Can you hear my
Right.
music? Can you whatever,
Yeah.
always asking for something.
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to go
You,
about it.
you have to treat you have to treat people. Okay. So this is real. What I'm about to say. This is a real thing. Um, I'm gonna talk about God just a little bit. So how I am when it comes to God, right? I treat God like there's no. I don't ask God for anything. I just thank Him for every good, every bad. I just thank Him I just thank God just for being.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't like say God, can you do this? Can you? I don't. So I feel people should treat their contacts and people that they really care about and look to work with like that. Like, don't look for things. Like, don't, and ultimately be, the universe is going to give you what you want if you're true to it. The universe is just like a lake. When you go to a lake, you can go to the lake and you could cry. You can go to the lake and cry. You can go to the lake angry. You could throw stuff in the lake. You could jump in the lake and drown. The lake is going to continue. Like, the lake is going to, it's the same thing like the universe. The universe is going to continue. It doesn't, it's what you go to it for. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, you have to have a genuine energy in what you actually want and feel that in yourself. It can't be like something on the surface and something that's cliche. It has to be real.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know what the universe is going to do for you to believe in that. Most of the things that we do is us catching up to things that are already there for us. It's not like it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know, when people receive things in life, you know, like accomplishments, most people are like, thank you for this and so grateful for that. And this finally happened. It's not that it finally happened. You finally caught up to it.
Correct.
Things are already there for us.
You know what I call it? What you just said, that's crucial, right? What you just said. I always say that there's a buffer, right? There's a buffer between our reality and the things that we are hoping or wishing or wanting in our reality, right? That buffer has to exist, right? Because imagine we're so, as humans, we're so impulsive that if things happen as quickly as we think about them, that would be a that would be a really bad problem.
Yeah.
But that buffer has to exist. So in order for you to be better at manifesting quicker, then you have to create you know, you got to create that buffer so that it becomes smaller. But it can only become smaller if you have the right intentions, if you have the right mindset, and if you care about the universe, the earth, humanity, and everything else. That's because the problem with is that we're usually egotistical and egocentric, and so we're caught up in other things that it's me, 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 me. But when we think about the universe as a whole and what we can do for others, we're here to serve. We're here to serve a purpose. We just, unfortunately, a lot of people, 99.999% of people are going to go their whole lives without finding out what that purpose is, you know. And so we get caught up in all these human things that we want to do. But the reality of it is that this is a perfect program. The universe has coded a perfect program. It has designed a perfect thing for you to do. So I like what people are saying. You know, check your ego at the door. Yeah, all of that. This is about that, and so that's why this community that we're building is precisely about giving back and the knowledge. But I do want to ask you before, I know you got to go soon because you got a DJ. I want to ask you about iTalk. I want you to mention what it is and what people can catch it.
Okay. iTalk is a new lane in entertainment. Emerges leadership content, stage drama, and pop culture. We're we are bringing a new form of party drama and leadership in a different way. You can catch it, well, you can definitely follow it at iTalk Events on social media or
iTalkEvents.com as well.
iTalk, yeah. Jalen was at the last iTalk. iTalk is going to do and be a lot of things. We haven't really revealed a lot of our, you know, secrets that's about to with it, but it's going to, some things I can talk about. iTalk is going to have a soundtrack. It's going to have a podcast. But it's to bring, I think somebody happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got a special guest. I'll introduce him in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, so we're bringing different. We want people to talk about like what we're talking about now. We want people to kind of give the real stories of their lives. Most people look at people and think things just happen. It doesn't happen that way. So that's what iTalk is for. iTalk is for people to kind of to come and actually tell their story, you know, and, you know, have a real moment, real conversations with the audience. and have the element of not feeling like you're bored because of the stories on the entertainment element of the like the pop culture element of me just killing and rocking the crowd. So
I love it. Love
along
it.
with along with my partner Jen Donnell,
That's right.
she's awesome. She's
Lady
awesome.
Boss, Lady Boss
Best part,
Rockstar. She had a
right? Best partner ever.
yeah. By the way, that she's amazing on stage. I love her presence and I love the way that she directed the crowd. You guys did
Yeah.
incredible together. I really really enjoyed it. I had a
Thank you.
fun time. So thank you for the invite.
Absolutely.
Yeah yeah yeah.
Our guest Marcus.
Oh yeah yeah. So oh man, this is awesome. So first of all, we've got Marcus Spence. I'm sure that you guys um, well, I sent my community a little write up about who he is, and of course I'm about to introduce him. I know that you had to go DJ, so but I want you guys to meet and connect as well. If
Okay.
you've never met Marcus, meet DJ Casper. DJ Casper, meet Marcus Spence.
How's it going, Marcus? I definitely want to say this before I get off. I want to say I've been found my purpose. Most who know me know this because I tell them, and I know I'm here to help people.
Wow,
Like I know that for a fact, 100%.
love it, man. Well, obviously, any way that we can help bring value and push your message, we're gonna continue to do that. We're excited about it. I'm excited about London. iTalk London.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
gonna be fun. So,
I
hey
want to get back
Marcus.
on here. I want to get back on here also because there's a lot that we left
Yes,
out.
yes, yes, yes. But let me know. I mean, obviously, welcome to pop on here. We're doing this weekly now. We used to do it
Okay.
once a month or whatever, but now we're gonna be doing it weekly, so we can always
Okay.
hop on here. And so the community is saying thank you, DJ Casper. Your authenticity is refreshing and inspiring.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
and beautifully said, my friend. Passion, hard work, value can go a long way. All these tips are spot on. Fortunate to be able to learn from you. Um,
Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate
I
all
mean,
of it.
great, great words.
Give me the links too, bro. Like when you post them, like when you doing the weeklies, send me the links and I'll post them to my community also.
For sure, for sure. Marcus, are you there?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, yeah. I think your microphone is off. You might be muted.
I can see him. I just can't hear him.
Yeah, it's very dark where he is, but oh, now he.
It said mute. Now it's not mute, but I still can hear him.
It's not mute, but we can't hear you.
Not now. It's mute. It says mute now.
Exactly. Now it's mute. Go to your settings. This thing has settings, and just choose default as your microphone and as your speaker. But anyway, man, it's been great having you, man. I'm excited to see you. Uh, I guess we're gonna do this again soon, but at the same
Yes,
time, I'm
absolutely.
excited to do to watch and see the London event. I'm looking forward to that. That's in June, yes.
Yes, June. I actually have to go. You brought up something earlier before we got on. He was talking about the coronavirus, and I'm like, because I'm booked over there. I have to start my tour again, my DJ tour.
Oh,
And my
geez.
first date is March 28th in London, and I'm just like, and my dates are rolling in, but I'm just like, let me see how this coronavirus thing turns out.
By the way, I was just informed, by the way, that Ultra got canceled.
Really?
Yes, Ultra got canceled. I mean, this is crazy. Think about the millions and millions and millions of dollars that just got lost.
Yeah. They just started opening things back up over in Europe, like certain like tourist attractions. I just seen that on the news, and I'm just like, this is like nuts. Because I'm like, in the next week or so, if it gets really heavy, I can't go. Like,
wow.
And it's in Philly now.
It's everywhere. But listen,
Yeah.
the good news is that you don't uh, the flu, right? Supposedly goes away. I mean, it happens with the regular flu and with every kind of flu variation. It goes away in the summer. So
Oh, okay.
I mean, it should be okay by the time that you're doing those events. I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. I don't know. That's a
It's probably
topic we
really
can't get
weird.
into right now because it's really heavy. But two
Yeah,
percent of people have died. 2% of the people that get it. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
it's really weird. It's like really changing like the course of things. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
Marcus, can you talk now?
I still can't hear him.
Yeah, still can't hear you. Maybe let me see. I think his microphone is. It says your microphone is not on. I mean, is on, but it's not working.
Yeah, it says it's on. I see his is on.
You want to sign out and come back, sign back in? Maybe that'll help. So let me give you guys a little. Actually, I'll just read what I wrote earlier for my community, so you guys know exactly who Marcus is. All right, I'm just gonna read it. This is pretty amazing, dude. Marcus Spence, right? Founder and CEO of Spence Force. Perfect. Spence Force Entertainment, a 20-year music executive.
I can hear him now.
Yeah, me too. Me too. He's the former president of Timbaland's record label, Mosley Music, for 20 years.
Hey, doing, man?
But here's the best.
Y'all see me okay?
Yeah, we see you fine. I think your light okay. Your lighting is terrible, but it's okay. We won't hold it against you.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. That's much better. Much better. All right. There you go. And by the way, if he looks like Timbaland, it's because they're actually related.
I try to hide that, but it's hard sometimes, try to hide it.
It's so good. Well, welcome. We appreciate you being here, man. It's a pleasure having you, and I'm glad you guys got to catch each other before DJ Casper leaves. So Casper is, of course, you know Casper. I want you guys to just say what's up to each other real quick.
What's up, Marcus? What's going on? Yeah. It's good that you made it to the chat. I'm sorry you came in a little late, man. We'd like to have you in here earlier because we was touching on a lot of things that I'm sure you would have some points and views on. Well, we'll have to do this another time. We'll have to tap into it. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Exciting.
It's a pleasure, man.
All right, Casper. Well, thank you for being on with us, man. I appreciate it. Everybody's saying thank you, and we'll have another time. We'll catch up on you.
Absolutely. I just want to leave y'all with this. I want to leave y'all with this one thing in the back of me. You see this sign? It says, "Music is what feelings sound like." Yep.
Wow.
So that's deep. So, I like it.
That's beautiful.
So peace, love, and music. Everybody be safe. Please wash your hands out here. Wash your hands. Absolutely. That's 100%.
Like this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Jalen.
You got it, my brother. Thank you.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure, bro.
All right. So,
hey, what's up, man?
There you go, my bro. We've got you all to ourselves now. Hold on.
Okay.
Boom. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it. This is a treat. I think my community is, we're just starting this thing. We've had a lot of success, obviously, with our conference. So we just decided that we're going to start just, talking live, getting people involved, getting people to ask questions. Casper went on here and he told the story a little bit, but I kind of wanted to, before we start telling a little bit about your story, I kind of wanted to get because they already know a little bit about you. So I kind of wanted to see if there's any interaction, if anybody wanted to ask you any questions, so that
of course.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions right now, this is the time. Right now.
Right this second.
Exactly. Last gem was blessing to you. Oh, okay, that's nice. Music is what feelings sound like. That's dope. But anyway, in the meantime, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, man. I mean, obviously we know a little bit about your background, but what is it you're doing right now?
Right now, I'm venturing out. I'm working with a health and wellness brand called Ashley Black Girl. She created it. It's called the Fascia Blaster. It's in the health and fitness realm, but I'm working with there to cross entertainment with health and wellness. So I'm working on a few big gyms. She has a huge female audience. So trying to cross that audience over to entertainment, and that's one of the many things that I'm involved in. And you know, that an Italian bull out of Italy that's really big in the Latin reggaeton market, and helping
Wow.
to give them some advice and strategy on how to cross their artists over here in America. I hate to rant. I'm working with a really cool company called AdRev, and looking for people that are looking to monetize their YouTube channels, because it's a lot of money out there that's unclaimed that people don't go after. So I'm working to help educate people to create opportunities so that people can collect their money. Being that YouTube is the biggest streaming platform out there in the world as well.
It sure is. We
And
love YouTube.
Absolutely. And additionally, I'm working with a company called Tungo. I've been with them about 4.5 years. It's essentially drop
Wait,
to
we lost you.
fingerprint the whole creative process from the original idea to the finish of the mastering of the project. So we collect all the data during that whole phase, and it actually helps people to keep everything in order. It's done in blockchain form, so you're able to know who does what and where the files are and where the splits are, and you're protecting it, so you don't have to worry about if a producer comes in and says, "Well, I did this." You actually show proof of the concept. If you did the melody, you can show them that, "Hey, I did the melody." So it actually it's really big on protection. So that's a really big company that we're launching. The platform should be launching in the next month or so for that one as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Uh, so let me ask you. Wait, somebody just asked a question. Um, somebody asked for your Instagram. We already gave it to them. What are you doing in the music business right now?
A lot of it is on the acquisition side, some creative, some visions of, like, making just showing people ideas and ways that people can create revenues for themselves as artists, educating people. I think it's something that I didn't hear the call with DJ Casper. I think it's educating the people on different ways to build your career. I think that's a point of my life that I've been in. Being in business for 20 years. I understand being as a manager, being as a publisher, being as a label president. I've been able to see every part of the business. So right now, I'm giving consultancy and advice to artists. That's one part of my business, but also showing them how the ways to collect as well, and protecting themselves. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm kind of leaning to more than
of
anything
course.
nowadays.
So, for those that don't, well, nobody knows in this community yet. Give them some of the artists that you've worked with before, so that they have a
Yes.
history of your trajectory.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of give you a little backstory. So I came in this business in around 2001. The first artist I worked with was Bubba Sparks. From there, I worked with our female rapper named Miss Jade. Both were signed to a previous label called B Club Records, and that was a joint venture with Ansco Records. From there, I discovered One Republic and Ryan Tedder. I secured their first record deal with a label called Belva Amber. They were through Columbia Records at the time. During that time, as every record label and every business, we go through ups and downs. We decided to fold B Club,
and we reformulated Mosley Music Group. So Mosley Music Group was in this next chapter of our success. And the first artist was Nelly Furtado. So the Loose album with Nelly Furtado, as well as A&R and putting together Shock Value 1 and Shock Value 2 for Timbaland, along with marketing both of those projects. And signed to One Republic and A&R their first two projects. Signed the late Chris Cornell from Soundgarden to a solo project for a one-off label as well. Kerry Hilson was heavily involved in the marketing of that as well. Wows, Faith Evans, and so I've been blessed.
Wow. Needless to say, you know a thing or two about the business.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. No. That I just wanted to give my audience a little bit of a background so they can understand like all the different aspects of the things you've done. This way they can kind of get a better feel as to why you're so passionate about what you're doing now. So
Absolutely.
as far as I want you to kind of like, because our whole thing here is always about the mindset aspect of what it takes to be in the business. So that being said, can you give us a little bit of that? Can you talk about how you deal with the adversity and the things that that come your way in the business, the challenges?
I mean, I think that the one thing I learned, when I was younger, you know, in the business, I was less emotional because you didn't know you didn't know what to do. You didn't know what you were acting. As time goes on, it takes patience. It takes patience and perseverance. And being coming in the part of the business where I came in, it was all about the physical. It was all about the Best Buy, the mom and pops, radio, and etc. Um, what I want people to understand is there are no limitations anymore. You know, with all the technology tools that are given, I was most recently working at a distribution company. There's I can give you examples of ways how artists can build their career and not need a major label. There's so many options nowadays that I actually feel like is actually more artist friendly than anything else, which is great. Um, so I think it's so many tools out there that can allow us to pursue a career.
Mm-hmm.
There are hiccups. There are rejections. I can give you an example without somebody. Please don't tell nobody. But there's many examples of like records that re-release from Shock Value One and our label that the label that our partner didn't believe in us. They were like, we don't know about this, but we believed, and that's what it is about being an artist. You have to believe. Every hill you go through, it's not going to always be a smooth glide over the hill. So we had a lot of. It wasn't everything all easy. You look at it and you think Timbaland, everything is immediate hit. It wasn't. There were times where, I can give you an example of a record, "Say Something" from Drake. If anybody's familiar with that record, that was off of the Shock Value 2 record. We went to radio with that record, and we was like, it's going to be a guarantee. Drake is hit. The record was going back. We were getting research that was bad at Hot 97, and it kept going backwards and backwards and backwards. Um, and when I mean research, you get a certain amount of spins at radio, and in 4 weeks they go and test the record with listeners, and they play about 15 seconds of the record, and they get their opinion. If they don't like it or they don't know the melody, they move on. um, but we kept believing, and it turned around because we never gave up.
Well, yeah.
And so those are the things those are many more stories behind that, but there are many more stories that you go through as an artist that aren't easy, but it's the struggle and the grind that at the end that you see the best appreciation for what you went through. And that's what I look at. There are no obstacles when it comes to being an artist. That's what I look at, because There are so many platforms and strategies and outside the box thinking you can do, because it's not a wild. It's not a
cookie cutter.
back in the day. Yeah, it's not cookie cutter. Like, you got to send your demo up to the label, and hopefully somebody discovers your demo. There are no obstacles. A&Rs are just basically VC financees that go and invest into your project. You can go out there and create your own economical, where they come after you. That's my advice. I always try to for the artists is like, don't go to them and beg. Don't go to A&Rs and labels to beg. Show them what it is, because they don't know. We can't expect it. Just because they have these titles, it doesn't mean they know everything.
Yeah. Well, two things about that. One, so basically, have blind faith in your own product. And number two,
Believe.
yeah, exactly. Believe. You got to believe. Um, and then the other thing is, somebody asked, uh, what are some of the biggest opportunities you see for startup artists right now?
Here's the thing. If you look at it, and I've always said this, in sync. There are so many TV shows out there, and because it's becoming such a content-driven business, I'll give you an example. One of my friends, which I cannot think of the company, they literally created music for TV and film and advertising companies, and crossed that opportunity over to be able to release an EP. It doesn't always have to come from doing a show. Everybody's brand is different. You might be a brand that starts off as sync. Like, if you look at the Fray couldn't get it. They couldn't get anybody to buy their project until they got a sync in Grey's Anatomy. That's how the music business works. You look for things that relate to your brand, relate to you as an artist, and you invest into that opportunity. So, merchandise, maybe your brand is a music soundtrack brands to a visual. Maybe you are a live performer. Not everybody's strong on on streaming. Maybe you're more on the vinyl side. So I look at it like, it's figuring out the passion. You can touch all these platforms, to all these opportunities, to see which one fits best for you. But there are opportunities out there to create opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
I most recently, I was working at a distribution company. Many artists independently. I'm just gonna give y'all a little gem. So, for example, there are a lot of companies out there, streaming royalties, and what they do is, they give you an advance based off the money you generate. So if you're generating $5,000 a year, and you're like, I need a new project, and they can look at where your analytics are on your streams, they can then say, okay, we can give you an advance off of this, because we know guaranteed that you're going to make this money, but we're not going to go back and collect any of that money, but we know that we'll make our money back.
Correct.
We invest in you. So that doesn't mean that you have to release music through them. That's just money towards you to shoot a music video, to finish an album, or to be able to whatever you want to do. So there's resources out there, and that's because of streaming, because the amount of money that's generated, that these opportunities are coming about.
That's great. That's great. And well, number one, you started by speaking about syncing and licensing. We had a few weeks ago, we had Mark Frazier here, who of course is the CEO of Sync Summit. So so that's awesome that you're mentioning that, because is reiterating what we already said that you needed to do as an artist. So that's great.
Yep.
And number two, I agree. I think that there's so many independent music technologies and resources that are out there for the independent artists, that a lot of artists don't do that homework to do. So we, in our conference, we try and do that. We try and bring as many of these resources to the light as possible, so that people can be aware of them, people can start using them. But believe it or not, um, people get okay, comfortable. They don't do the work. They don't put in the work.
Yeah, there you go.
And
there you go.
Yeah, and another thing um, that I think is important to point out, artists, remember, you don't have to do it all, but you have to learn how to enroll people into your vision. You have to
Yep.
enroll people into your music, and maybe it's just a cousin and a friend that are really into your music. Where those two people can get you two more people, and those two other people can get you two more people. So you just have to learn how
Yep.
to bring more and more and more people into the fold. You know.
Absolutely. And even
Well, you're breaking
YouTube.
up.
Can you hear me now? Can
Yeah.
you hear
No.
me now? Hey, there are some artists that are even strong on YouTube, for example, right? So you look at this, they with YouTube, you can drive the audience through Google Ads, right? And
Yeah.
you drive. There are a lot of playlists that are on Facebook. For example, what is the Lucas Joyner, right? So Lucas Joyner's strategy was to use Facebook's playlist and as well as Twitter to drive the views back to YouTube. Because there are a lot of playlisters on these platforms that you would think that you could just use posting on YouTube that it's going to automatically react.
Yep.
But it all comes from an algorithm that's driven back to a landing place. So there are artists that are strong on YouTube that would never have to release an album, but the YouTube audience is incredible. I worked with an artist named Bart Baker. He had like 10 million views. He had 10 million subscribers on YouTube, but it never translated to the streaming side. But he monetized it through YouTube.
Wow.
So, he made millions on that way. So that's what I'm saying. It's like there's always some kind of way to kind of like whatever you feel. If you're like, I want to be the superstar, then it's a different mode. You have to go to the artist development. You have to figure out the image.
You got to know your brand.
Exactly.
You
You
got to
have to
know
know
your brand,
everything
and more
because
importantly,
as a manager and as a label executive, I was big on not telling the artist who they should be. Because if I spend my time telling you who you should be, then I'm doing you disjustice because you're doing this because this is your passion, this is your love. My job as an executive is to help show to the world.
yeah. So speaking of that, so I think that the next big, most important thing, especially in this day and age, is going to have to be an application that that is data driven, right? Big data, where you can find out where your audience actually is based
Absolutely.
on taste, right? And so
Yep.
I think that this is going to be very helpful for people. We know a couple of ladies that are doing something incredible. They graduated from MIT, and they're doing some incredible things with that analytics. And I think that finding your audience can help you really understand what your brand as an artist should be. Because creating
Absolutely.
music is one thing, right? As a creator, I'll just create music because I love it and I create what I feel. But I need to understand my brand. I need to understand who my audience is, and especially understand like who's out there like me, what other artists are out there. Because the funny thing about artists is that we're all like, I'm so unique, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
And instead of
But
thinking like there's other people out there that is creating amazing, incredible music that fits with me, who could I go on tour with, or who could I open for, or who could open for me? Let's find
you
that
just brought up a good
community.
point.
Huh?
You just have a good point. I have a company like that.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. That is good, and that's really important for artists to know that. It's just like when if you're going to like a McDonald's, they know their demographic, right? It's the same thing as an artist, right? And that's when the whole live component was so important back in the day because you could look at each other's eyes and see who's in the audience. With streaming, it doesn't allow you can't really, and I think it's important for you as an artist to know that demographic because if not, you're running around
Yeah.
chasing and hoping, and then you don't have any a loyalty fan base, and they for the moment, but then they're not going to be there for the long term. And the most important thing is to build a 20-year career where you have people that are going to be there through thick and thin and support everything you do, from your merchandise, from your new single, become your fan club, become your street team, and that
Super
is what
fans.
technology allows. Yep,
The
exactly.
super fans that once they're really in, you you could be the worst cook in the world. You create a hit song, you could be like, hey, I got a cookbook, and they'll buy it.
Exactly, exactly. You know, and I think that's it's a brand. You know, as an artist, I always tell people, look at yourself as a brand. Look at yourself as a brand,
So
just like McDonald's, just like I mean, just like Coca Cola.
yeah.
Treat yourself as that way, and you know, nobody can take that away from you because you know who yourself, you know who your brand is. You created that. You know, it's just like when Steve Jobs created the iPod. You knew what it was. You know, it's the same thing. You know
Okay.
exactly who you are.
So I have to say this because if not, my team will kill me probably. But yes, definitely relate to a brand like Coca Cola or McDonald's. But don't eat that brand. Don't eat McDonald's. Don't eat Coca
Okay, yeah,
Cola.
no, I know what you mean. Don't
Don't
die
do
of
that.
diabetes.
All right.
Don't
You
do
want to be as big
diabetes.
as them, but don't do
Yeah,
what they do. Anyway.
yeah, yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
no. But
I know
I'm
what you.
glad that we're having these conversations because it's important that people know that the brand part of it is extremely important. So one last thing that I wanted to ask you, what about um, the touring industry? How do you see that evolving?
I mean, I think that the touring industry because it's important. I mean, generally, you know, we're dealing with the coronavirus right now, but I feel like the touring industry is important. I mean, the live shows, the live aspect, it's a live experience. You know, people still want to go to shows, so I think that's important as an artist, like to perfect your craft from a live performance side because at the end of the day, it's about getting your music out to the masses. So I think that's a huge important piece of the puzzle. Beyond doing all the marketing and all the cross branding on the other side, I think the live show is very important because I mean you could tour till you're 80. You know, I mean that's the beautiful part about it. But you cannot have a hit record, but still you have an audience to go do shows with. So I think touring is super important.
Yeah, and
Super important.
uh, FYI, it doesn't matter if you only have 200 followers. If they're 200 super fans, and they can go in
Exactly.
and buy 200 tickets to come and see you, you're gonna make a living. So
Absolutely.
so it really
Yeah.
matters that you create these super fans.
Absolutely.
And I guess the last thing that I wanted to kind of go back to real quick is can you name a couple of things that you feel are great opportunities for artists that are just starting? Like what are ways that they can get really um, differentiate themselves from the masses, you know? What are some clues, some things that
What's
they can do now that are different?
I mean, it all for me. Um, I'm big on creating something that nobody else has done. Either from a musical side, and I think doing something and not being afraid to take a chance with music. I think that's a big piece. I think that people need to you know not be a follower but be a leader
I
in
like that.
music. So
So let's pause there for a
whoever
second because that's extremely important what you just said. So basically, people, don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to experiment with your music. Don't be afraid to try new things and to just create amazing stuff instead of just what's in style or what's the next thing
yeah,
or let me
exactly.
do a song like so and so. Got it. That's I like that you
Exactly.
brought
I
it
mean,
back to the
I mean,
music, you know?
yeah, and I think that's when it comes in because you want to be the leader. You can't be afraid. What I look at is like you know as music business changes all the time. There's certain sounds that come in. Every 5 years it goes to this sound and you will come out the woodworks. But if you're unique and you're your own self, who sounds like Prince, it's like Michael Jackson, right? Who's
Well, you're
that
breaking up.
brand? Yeah. Uh,
Michael Jackson was the last thing I heard.
yeah. I look at like if you look at compare Prince to anybody else. It's being you know,
Hold 1 second. Hold on.
thinking in that manner, the vision will come because you have to tap into where you want to where do you want to leave your legacy for your family or where you want people to look at you as. And I think that's very, very important in going forward. So even the music you're doing, think about timeless music. Don't worry about if people, A&Rs don't know.
Ooh, that's
Nowadays, there are no
it's
ground
breaking up.
and jumping.
It's breaking up, but I know what you're saying because I understand that. So people, he's saying that A&Rs don't matter as much anymore.
They don't. They don't because they're just their acquisition. They're looking to jump into what you're doing. So you're telling them artists really have the leverage, and that's what I want everybody to understand. It's like have fun,
You
discover.
have
I
the
mean,
leverage.
you have the leverage. You could go out. There's so many distribution platforms out there right now. You can release. I'll give you one great advice. Create a catalog of music. Don't stay stuck on one song. Keep releasing music. Keep doing the catalog because the more music you build up, it helps you. It helps because if you're doing it, and it helps on the monetization side so that you can actually build a business because you can use that music for other ways. So it's being up a catalog of music.
All right, that's great advice. All right, my man. Listen, this has been an amazing conversation, man. I really appreciate your time, and this is just
No
the
problem.
beginning. We're gonna build with Music Entrepreneur. We're gonna continue to do some really cool stuff, and obviously, for those that don't know, Marcus is actually a part of the New York University, NYU Clive Davis Institute of Recording Music course that we did last year called Music Industry Essentials. So you can actually see him there, which is amazing. Marcus, we shared with my community your Instagram, so there's probably going to be some people that are going to follow you, maybe send you some messages.
Okay.
So check your messages.
Absolutely.
You don't have to answer everybody, but uh, filter some of those for you. But
Okay.
but if you do have the time, please do. I mean, people are
Absolutely.
our community is awesome. They really want to just get to know people like you. They want to ask questions, and I know you're all about that. So
Yep. Absolutely.
so thank you for your
Absolutely.
time. And
Thank you.
if there's one
Thank,
last thing that you want to say to them, what is that?
don't let nothing stop you. Keep going. Just keep going. Even when somebody says they don't get it, keep going. Just keep pushing.
That's it. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in this week. We will be together again 1 week from now, and with a special, super special guest. Most likely, we'll be live from Los Angeles, I think, unless this coronavirus keeps messing things up. But hopefully, we'll be out in California and Los Angeles. We will be doing this live from there with an incredible special guest, another special guest. And yeah, this is what it's about. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you,
Absolutely.
and this is what it's about, man.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
You
Thank you.
got it. Peace out.